welcome to Tackle the Board. I'm Reese, the Vegas line reader, joined by my co-host here, Chris Euksuzian. You can find him at Chris Ebom. Pretty crazy week again last week. One of the games saved me was the Bucks at the 4 o'clock games. Thank God they came back and covered that spread, a little backdoor cover. I put out the Browns early in the week for everybody at 27 was the team total. Pretty crazy week. I mean, they ended up scoring 27 points, but I had to give it out on Sunday to everybody. But again, just a crazy week. I remember the Browns, all they had to do was kick the field goal. They were up 8 points in the game. All they had to do was kick the field goal. Instead, they're going for it on 4th and 1. I couldn't believe it. Just go up 2 scores. I don't understand what the heck they were doing in that game. But definitely want to hear some of the games you had for this past Sunday. Anything interesting?
Yeah, well, Thanksgiving was good. I ended up having the Texans -2.5, which was like the gift of the century.
Oh, yeah.
Or it was -3, sorry, excuse me, -3, but it didn't matter anyway. I mean, literally, the Lions lost like everybody on that team offensively. They lost 2 of their corners. I think a corner got hurt during the game. It was just like a hot mess. And if Deshaun Watson lost that game, I don't think he should have been at the league anymore, but he was unbelievable regardless. So that was a good start for Thursday. I locked games in early, so it looked kind of weird on Twitter. I jumped on the Saints, wrote early -6, and of course everyone knew what happened with the QB situation, so that was an easy one. I was able to get Seattle early at -5, so that was good because the backdoor cover didn't screw me on that point, which was insane. Just pointless Eagles cover right there, so that was good for the the Eagles backers there. Mm-hmm. But 2 games that just really were just dreadful. Well, the Giants, a sweat for my survivor, and Daniels gets hurt. He hurts his hamstring. And then all of a sudden, Colt McCoy's been on every NFC East team. Now he's on this team now. And I'm like, oh, man, do I need to win another game with a backup? I swear, Russ, I think I've had 4 games this year on Survivor where backup has came in and I needed them to win the game. And it's happened, which has been awesome. But I was just like, oh, my gosh, this is insane. And then the worst of them all, I swear, I don't bet with my heart. I just don't do it. I bet with the numbers. And the numbers were all over the Chargers that game against the Bills. I was
waiting for it to come out.
I know the Bills were blown out the doors a little bit, but I mean, Chargers were coming back. Lynn is terrible. I think he might be the top 3 worst coaches. I think the group of 3. I'm not even going to rank them from first to worst. There's a group of 3. So there's Gase, Nagy, right, for the Bears. He's terrible, and Lynn. Those are like the 3 worst coaches in the entire league.
Better back active again, yeah. Patricia's another one for me that I try to avoid.
Well, he got the boot, so he doesn't count anymore. But he was up there as well. Yeah. So like, I just can't stand Lynn. He has this talent on defense. I mean, he achieved a little bit. Herbert's been playing great.
I had a feeling it was the kiss of death because you were hating on Lynn all year, and then out of nowhere last week you're like, yeah, Lynn's been okay as a coach. I'm like, I don't know. He might be forcing this one.
I talked myself into it. And it was just
they got down to the 1 yard line, so.
Well, that was the thing though. They got there, they threw the Hail Mary pass, they got it. So I mean that was good in itself, but still there could have been a PI call, things could have got moved. So anyway, so to get the ball to like the 2 yard line, they're rushing to the ball. I'm like, oh, they're gonna like try to throw it or spike it. They run the ball. They run the ball, and then they run off like 20 seconds, and then he throws like a quick out that goes to nobody just to stop the clock. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. And then I'm like, this like the backdoor coverage should be happening because even if they scored, they still would have won the game, the Bills. So it didn't really matter. It was the perfect scenario. And then they run a play where like Herbert like loses the ball, and they have him at like a QB rush, and it just like he just gets crunched, and it's like, okay, great, just hurt your quarterback. That's really nice. Like just throw a 2 yard out. Someone's going to get a PI call or just get a touchdown because nobody cares. Absolutely horrible. Lynn is terrible. That should have been an easy cover there. And the Giants with that kickoff return, I could have had a monster day, like 5-0.
Yeah, I think that was the most ridiculous game. Probably was the Giants game. they just gave the game away. The Bengals got a kick return. You rarely see kick returns nowadays, and someone's getting a 103-yard kick return. That's just crazy. So, but I knew that the Giants would have to score over 20 to cover that game anyway. So for them not to score 20 points is that pretty embarrassing because the Bengals defense is pretty bad right now. But you're definitely going to have to bury that Arnold Schwarzenegger audio in the backyard, probably.
It's a shame. It's a great sound clip. I love it. It's just, I hate Lynn. And he won't get fired this year because he has a new quarterback. So it's like,
yeah, we'll get into that later.
It's a year pass, but it's just only going to hurt him at the end.
His time's coming soon. So all the coaches that screw us all year, we should have just told ourselves not to touch these guys, the Falcons, the Lions, all these teams. If you just avoid these guys, you probably would have made a bunch of money this year. So.
And you know what? The Falcons just laid the smackdown. So, like, who knows?
Yeah, well, they did get rid of their coach, so now we're allowed to take them.
Oh, and one more thing. It was pretty funny. One more thing, though, for the Sunday night game. So, like, everyone, like, was saying, like, Trubisky was going to be playing and everything. The line went up to 9 and it dropped a little bit. And then I see, like, I love when people show the pictures of, like, the full panel picks and, like, yes, I got the Bears. And I'm like, I almost fell for it. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is so many points. I mean, he can't play that bad. I mean, I didn't touch it, thank God, because I just don't go against Aaron Rodgers at home. I've learned better than that because I took the Falcons plus 1,000 when they were there and they got destroyed. So it didn't really matter. But it was crazy. Like, Aaron Rodgers just, like, shit all over him. And it was just like, it's like, oh, well, Trubisky still sucks, So that was great.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they put up 40 points in that game. That's crazy. So we'll jump into the first game, though. We'll kick off this week. We got the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. I'll let you go first for this one.
Oh, well, thank you for this shit show.
yeah.
So we got Detroit at you still throw me a curveball, that's for sure. So we got Detroit at Chicago. Chicago's laying 3. The over/under is 44. I don't see myself touching this game by any means necessary. Both of these teams cannot score. They can't run the ball. Detroit can throw it a little bit. But their defense has given up so much running, passing, points. It's absolutely terrible. Bears defense, of course, 8 points against. If you're looking for a bright side, their pass defense is pretty good at 11. But if I were to take something in this game, I probably would just take Detroit plus the points, just the fact they just lost their coach. Maybe this new I don't even know who's going to be the coach, but I'm assuming it's an assistant of some sorts. I guess he's going to, like they say, throw like out the entire playbook and go crazy with it. Maybe they can sneak one with the Bears here. And that's pretty much where I see that here because I just like the fact they got rid of a really shitty coach. And now, maybe that gives them a little spark. But overall, this is like a toilet bowl. I'm getting out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely didn't want to have to pick this game. Don't trust the Bears as a favorite. It all depends on the lines, really. We need to know who's playing, if Galladay's coming back and Swift. Those are huge. I mean, when Texans are favored by 3 against you, you knew that the Texans are going to cover that because the Lions just don't have any weapons right now. So it all depends if their weapons come back. This is a game, though, I just think it's going to be ugly. These two teams faced off before earlier in the season. It was week 1. It was 27-23 was the final score. The Bears ended up coming back. Trubisky was actually in that game. He put up a bunch of yards because the Lions, all their cornerbacks got hurt in the game. So the public's probably going to be fooled by seeing that 27-23 score. So I would think that I would take the under in this game. I think it's Lions probably with the new coach or with Patricia gone probably play some defense. I mean, the Texans played good defense that one game when the coach did leave. So definitely whenever the coaches are gone, the defense steps up. So I could definitely see a sloppy, low-scoring game here.
Yeah, I mean, in that kind of case with the Texans, you got Romeo Crennel, who's a defensive coordinator in that kind of situation. I don't know. I just assume Detroit's just going to do all kinds of crazy crap. I think it's going to be like fake punts. I just think it's going to be like – you're going to see like a fake – I don't know. I just think they're just going to do whatever they want because they have nothing to lose. And I think that leads to points one way or the other. So that's why I'm kind of scared of like the over-under in this game. But I mean, Bears are 0-4 in their last 4 games as a favorite, so they haven't been a good favorite. So maybe that's even maybe more of a reason to take Detroit. But overall, probably staying away from this game.
Yeah, exactly. I'd stay because both teams actually gave up over 40 points last week. So that's why I'm thinking one of the defenses has to step up in this game. But by all means, we'll probably just go on to the next game and get the hell out of here.
Yes, exactly.
Next game is Cincinnati Bengals at the Miami Dolphins, -11.5. We're starting to get to a tough time here with these spreads. I never like taking double-digit favorites. I mean, I love the Dolphins this year, but 11.5 points is a lot of points. You saw last week they won a 20-3 type of game, but we don't even know who's coming back at quarterback. I guess Tua might be coming back, but they play a more conservative offense with Tua. So the Bengals, they're still bad at defense, 26th in defensive yards allowed. Just to let you know, I just would not take the Bengals at all. So if I were to take a side, it would be the Dolphins, but definitely wouldn't trust taking a double-digit favorite in this game, especially after they just won by 17 last game. They're not just going to keep killing teams. So a game I'd probably just avoid. What do you think about this game?
Well, that's a very good point you brought up about the Dolphins. You don't think they're going to really kill a team twice here for the most part. But, I mean, I would almost side with the Bengals over here. I'm looking at Miami's side of the ball. They're 30th in rushing yards per game and 25th in passing yards per game. So they're not really doing a whole lot offensively. And their rush defense is ranked 26th, and their pass defense is ranked 17th. I mean, Cincinnati's just bad across the board. We all know this with everything, especially the new quarterback and everything. But 11.5 just seems like too many points for this game. Mm-hmm. If I had to side something with this, I would side with the 11.5. I would hold my nose, be like, "Pu, this stinks." 11.5. I mean, we start off with 2 real big barn burners over here. But if I had to take something, I would take the Dogs plus 11.5 because I think it's way too many points. And I don't think they're going to blow out a team twice, 2 weeks in a row. So I think that's a great point you brought up there.
Yeah, and even if the Bengals win that, you would think it's probably going to be like an ugly, low-scoring game too. Like some things are going to go their way like last week. Just get some more crazy shit going their way.
Yeah.
Next game will be the Indianapolis Colts -3 at the Texans. I'll just shoot at this one. I like the Colts here. Texans are coming off 2 straight wins. I like when average the bad teams are coming off 2 wins, putting up 27 points against the Patriots, 41 against the Lions. Just got news yesterday that Will Fuller, he just got suspended for PEDs. Colts are coming off a game where the defense didn't show up. They gave up a 45 points. So you got a top 5 defense giving up 45 points. Everything just spells that it's going to go the Colts' way. You know, they had a terrible week. Texans have been looking good in the public's eye. Definitely give me the Colts here. I know the offensive lineman, Costanzo, he's one of the tackles. He got hurt during the game. So I'll keep an eye on that because Rivers did look a little sloppy in the middle of that game last week. So we'll see how that injury update's looking. What do you think for this game?
I couldn't agree with you anymore. I love this game, Indy -3. I think it's a perfect buy low, sell high kind of situation. As you brought up, Houston winning 2 games in a row, correct? And now Indy getting it, pretty much the defense got completely embarrassed with like 200 yards rushing by El Tractocito. And their defense is still real solid. I mean, they're still ranked 7th in rush defense, 6th in pass defense, even after that horrible defensive performance, 9th points against, giving up 40-some points. That really dropped a lot for them. So that's saying something. But Indy, they're 9th in scoring offense, which kind of shocked me when I looked at it. I was like, wow, they're really ranked 9th. It kind of really surprised me. And they're ranked 10th in passing yards. I think this is a product of Frank Wright. I think it's showing he has a really good coach. I mean, if you're getting these kind of numbers with Phillip Rivers, I mean, I think that really says a lot, and obviously shows that the Eagles let go of the wrong guy here. And I'm looking at Houston. All I see is red. I see bad stuff. I see 23rd pass defense, 31st rush defense, 23rd points against, 31st rush offense, only 18 scoring offense. I was kind of surprised it was that bad. I thought it would have been a lot better with Deshaun Watson out there. I think this is a very good spot for Indy. A couple things against the spread that I saw here. Colts are 6-0-1 against spread in their last 7 games following a double-digit loss at home. So I think that's a very important thing to look at when you're looking at the Colts. And Houston this year, they're 1-5 versus a team with a winning record. So they don't do well against these teams that are good. So Colts have also been 7-0-1 their last 8 meetings in Houston. And they've just done really well against the Texans overall. And now that Frank Reich's got real things cooking, especially on the offensive side, I think this is a game where the defense steps up a little bit more now that you told me Will Fuller's out because of PEDs. Even that much. So give me the Colts -3. I think this is probably a play I will take unless something crazy comes up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think we're just getting great value on this game too because the Colts have some injuries. So that's actually a good thing for us because we're getting a better number on the spread here. I think they easily win this game against the Texans. And the Texans, they weren't facing any top-notch offenses. They were facing the Patriots. The games that they won, they faced the Patriots, the Jaguars a couple times they beat, and the Lions, who didn't have anybody on offense. So they're not getting any signature wins. So I don't see them getting a signature win, winning 3 in a row. Just don't see it happening. We'll jump into the next game. Jacksonville Jaguars at Minnesota Vikings -9.5. This is another team. The Vikings, I just don't trust as a favorite this year. I don't like teams that don't play defense. They're 24th in defensive yards allowed still. Everyone remembers a couple weeks ago, they didn't cover, lost to the Cowboys. They're 2-4 as a favorite this year on the season. They've had one win that was by double digits, and that was against the Lions, where Stafford actually was in quarantine for a whole week and didn't practice. So also got to see is undecided here who the quarterback is for the Jaguars, but I think they should get the cover here. I mean, I don't see the Vikings being up 16, 17 points. I think the Jaguars could still get a backdoor cover easily in this game. Just a 9.5 is a lot of points. Everything's got to go their way in that game. So I would side with the Jaguars here. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stinky games this week. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of really crappy games.
Some bad teams, yeah.
So I'm looking at this game. Jacksonville, they're just bad across the board. 30th points against, 30th rush defense, 28 scoring offense. The best thing they do, believe it or not, is pass, and that's 21st in the NFL. They're just a really bad team. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, I see the Vikings winning. I was almost going to take them. I was looking at them as survivor, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, I got a weird feeling about this game. I just don't. Like, you could see a game where the Jags get up for this game. I would take the 9.5. That seems like the only play for me there. But overall, I really don't got much for this game.
Yeah, I know that's like this. Like we'll talk about Survivor later, so I'll get off of the Vikings, but we'll talk about that later. The next game, got the Las Vegas Raiders -8 at the New York Jets. Raiders, they basically got embarrassed last week to the Falcons. Everyone saw that. Saw how pissed off Carr was. The Jets also blew out the Raiders last year, 34-3. So this is actually a perfect scenario that they got blown out by the Jets last year and they got blown out last week. I think these guys are going to come out fired up. I saw usually teams, I think the Raiders are going to make the playoffs. So usually teams that make the playoffs, their point differential is usually at even or at least a plus. These guys are at like a -30 some points in point differential right now. So they need like a 15, because I saw their 3 games after this are actually competitive games. So they're definitely going to get the point differential is going to be big here. They're going to win probably by 15, 20 points here. So I like the Raiders in this spot.
Yeah, I agree with you here. The Raiders are in a great spot here after getting embarrassed last week. I think that's very important. A game that a lot of people thought they probably should have won, but they didn't. It's very important to look at that Las Vegas. They're ranked 12th in the NFL with rush defense. It's going to be very important because the Jets, the offense stinks out loud. But if you're looking for a better point, I guess, with their offense, they're ranked 26th. So I'm really reaching here on the offensive side for rush yards per game because they're the worst in passing by far because it's been a Flacco, Darnold, seeing ghosts. You know, it's just a hot mess there. Points against. New York Jets are ranked 29th, and I think a big part of that is because they're really undisciplined on defense. Greg Williams is just an asshole, and I don't think the guys they just keep getting personal foul calls constantly, left and right. Like I remember I watched this full Jets game.
Oh
I mean,
no.
it's hard to really watch a full
Oh
Jets game.
no.
It's like it's next level when you're watching a full Jets game. And
Wow.
my boy Colucci, who's a big Jets fan, I can't even imagine watching those games. But
No.
all I saw was just personal foul calls, and guys would just get angry and just hit guys late constantly. They thought they were tough, and meanwhile they gave up like 180 yards of like penalty yards, and it's like, okay, that's great, good job, guy. So I think that's going to extend plays for Carr, and Waller's been absolutely amazing, and Jacobs has been real good as well. I know Jets are ranked 11th in rush defense, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think you're going to get a very pissed off Raiders team, and I can see the fireworks here for sure.
Yeah, and it's not like going to be a letdown spot. It's the only time the bad teams get close in these games or win outright when teams overlook them. But this is a spot where the Raiders, they got to stay in the playoff hunt, and they're going to take this game very seriously. The next game, we got the Saints -3 at the Atlanta Falcons. You want to jump into this, or you want me to go?
Yeah,
first?
I'll jump into it. Sure. So what this game's looking like right now? It's New Orleans -3 on the road. Over under is 46. It's weird how the Saints have transformed to this run shoot kind of team now because Reese is out, which shows a lot about the coach and everything. They're ranked 5th in scoring offense, 7th rush yards per game. They're 5th points against. Their defense has been incredible this year, believe it or not. They're ranked 2nd on rush defense, 5th on pass defense. And Atlanta coming off this big win. I just can't imagine Atlanta getting another win after this big blowout. I feel like they get that one big win where they get really happy and then they just get smashed the next game. And I think you're getting this is the same kind of thing. You're believe it or not, you're buying low on a Saints team that was giving 15, 16 points covering. And you're selling high on an Atlanta team that got real hot against the Raiders team that just didn't really come out to play that week because they're probably, believe it or not, maybe looking ahead to this Jets game. And they're staying on the East Coast, the Raiders, so I like that even more. They're probably not traveling back, which is good for them. So I don't know. I just think you're going to see a lot of turnovers. The line's low. If the line was like 6 points, I'd be a little bit worried. But I think that they could win this game. I mean, they should be able to win this game by a touchdown, control the clock with the run game. Mm-hmm. Their rush defense is ranked 6th, Atlanta, so that does kind of worry me a little bit. Maybe Taysom has a better passing day because their pass defense is ranked 31st. It's absolutely horrible. So, I would go with the Saints here.
Nice. Yeah. We talked about the Saints last week about how we knew that with Taysom Hill that the defense was giving up 8 points per game, and they gave up 3 last week. So you can do the math. They're probably giving up 5 or 6 points a game the last 4 games, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's the reason why I just couldn't trust the Falcons in this game because the Saints defense is just playing out of their minds. But it goes the other way. Everyone sees that the Saints have been dominating. The thing I do like about the Falcons here is that they just did face Taysom Hill 2 weeks ago. He only put up 24 points in that game, so they've seen how the offense is running with Taysom Hill, so they have something to prepare for. Yeah, so that's the reason why in this game I would actually go under for this spot because it's a division game. Yeah, you think it's going to be kind of ugly. People are actually starting to bet the Falcons now. That's what I hate is when people are actually liking the Falcons. That's when they kill people. So I could just see the Falcons somehow ruining this cover, somehow losing by 4 or 5 points, like a 17-13 type of game. Somehow just screw the game, somehow make a mistake. So I would definitely take the under in this game. And both of these teams are coming off blowout wins, so they both put up a lot of points last week. So I could definitely see a battle for next week in this matchup. And I just want to note, I did find a hidden gem in that game last week, the Saints and the Broncos. I took the first half under. It was like the easiest money ever. The first time in since 1960 that there was a wide receiver at quarterback. That was like the easiest money. I knew that no one was going to score in the first half. That was such easy money. So we'll jump into the next game. We got the Cleveland Browns at the Tennessee Titans. I'll let you go first again on this game.
All right, sure. Yeah, so we got Cleveland at Tennessee, laying 5.5. The over-under is 54. And pretty much Tennessee's been just clicking left and right with their offense. They're ranked 6th in scoring offense, 3rd in rushing, of course. That's no shock with Tractor Cito. The dude's an absolute beast. Their defense, still not that great, ranked 28th. Cleveland, just a weird team. Like, the coach isn't that bad, honestly. I don't know. It might just be a Baker Mayfield thing, but I actually kind of like the coach for the Browns. I think he's actually called decent games for him for the most part. Their rush defense is ranked 9th, so that would be something to consider for this game because maybe it does slow them down a little bit, especially after a big game like that. They might want to really get up for this game, the Browns. I'm almost leaning the under here, under 54. I know it's really high, but I don't know. I think the ball's going to be ran a lot, and I think Cleveland's defense is going to step it up a little bit, enough to, like, hold, like, under 54, which is kind of crazy. It's that high. But I would lean the under.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you like the under? I thought you were about to say you thought it was high. You're going to take the over.
No, well, I mean, like, usually I'd be on that kind of spot at the over, but I don't know. I don't know. I just think this is a spot where I think the run defense is going to hold Tractor Cito down just a little bit enough just to run the clock out. And Cleveland's pass defense is ranked 20th, so it's not that good. I mean, Baker Mayfield, will he have a great game against this terrible pass defense? I doubt it. He's missed so many open wide receivers. It's been crazy. I watched him on Sunday on the red zone, and, like, he had guys wide open end zone. He's throwing right behind him. So I don't really trust him here to, like, make those kind of throws. So I like the under 54.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm back and forth on this game. When I saw the spread originally, it was at 4. I was all over the Browns, but now actually changing my mind on this game. I actually starting to like the Titans, but I just don't trust the Titans as a favorite. So this is probably just going to be a game I'm going to avoid. Again, the Titans are 2-5 against the spread as a favorite this year. So I never know if they come out to play when they are a favorite in these games. They still don't play defense, but then you got Baker Mayfield, who is not a good quarterback. So kind of goes both ways. The only reason I'm off of the Browns now is because they've been hit with injuries. Ward was out for the cornerback last week. That's why they gave up points to the Jaguars last week. And now seeing Ronnie Harrison, he's out safety for this week. So
Ronnie Harrison? He's still in the
league? No, Ronnie Harrison. He's out.
Okay.
He's the safety for the Browns. So you got banged up guys in the secondary missing. Myles Garrett comes back, but I just feel like, I don't know, the Browns, they had the magic going, but I don't know. They're missing Odell Beckham. Now they're starting to get these injuries on defense. I don't know. It's going to come down to them and the Raiders to make the playoffs, and I'm starting to think that the Raiders might actually make the playoffs. So this spread is high to me, -5.5. And the Titans did have a high spread that I didn't like earlier in the year against the Bears. They were -6.5. I couldn't believe they were that high. So just a fishy line to me. I'm going to stay away from this because it could just be a back and forth kind of touchdown type of game.
I wouldn't mess with this game personally.
Yeah.
But I would maybe lean the under. But that's about this is going to be, like, you're going to pull your hair out this game. There's going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on here.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'll pass.
Yeah, two teams you're not sure what they're going to do here. So we'll jump to the next game. New York Giants at the Seattle Seahawks -10. This is a game I'm also probably going to lay off, but if I was to take a side, I would go with the Seahawks. For some reason, I don't know what it was, if the Eagles had all the energy, but it just seemed like the Seahawks offense just didn't, like, really care in that game. As Russell Wilson just sitting on the sideline eating snacks the whole time. I don't know what was going on. Like, they had some the offense just looked ugly in the beginning of the game. They hit some deep plays, but they couldn't hit Lockett at all in that game. So that's why I have a feeling this game that the Seahawks, they're going to get Lockett going. And when Lockett's going, they put up a lot of points. I've seen that the Seahawks, they do struggle on the road. When they are at home, they play a lot better. They've averaged 33 points a game at home. So I might not necessarily take the spread in this. This might be a game where I actually like the over. I know McCoy's going to play, but I think he could probably get about 17 to 20 points in this game. The Seahawks,
really?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the Seahawks. Actually, Dunlop, he just got hurt too. When he came back, they started getting sacks and playing a lot better defense. So now he might be out for this game. So I can see the Giants. The Giants looked bad last week because they were the ones that were favored, but now the Seahawks, they're going to put up some garbage points. I think if the Seahawks get in the 30s, the Giants will just get enough garbage points to get the 17-20 in this game. So I think I like the over in this spot right here.
Yeah, so I'm looking at some things with the Giants now. The whole Colt McCoy thing. I don't know if he can score 17 to 20 points. I think that's asking a lot. But hey, you know what? Maybe a week of prep where he's not just thrown into the wolves. Maybe that'll help him. I think there's an important stat that the Giants have. They are ranked 10th with points against this year. This defense does play hard for Judge here. They're ranked 5th in rush defense. Really won't mean a whole lot because simply they're ranked 23rd rushing the Seahawks. Carson is healthy now, so that is a little boost in their step now. I'm actually on the opposite side here. I would actually take the under 48. I feel like Seattle just wants to get out of Dodge, get this win. I think this East Coast trip is just like, hey guys, let's just take it easy. Let's get through this East Coast trip. Let's get prepared for our conference. Let's get back home, beat the crap out of the Jets later. Get everything good. So I don't know. If I had to take something, I would take the under 48. I just don't feel like Russ is going to really try and put up a whole lot of points. I think they're just going to be on cruise control, and I just don't know. The Giants already ranked 30th in scoring offense. Now you're throwing Colt McCoy on top of that. That's going to be just bad offense. I know Seattle's pass defense is the worst in the league. It's talked about all the time, but you know what? They did get that corner. I can't remember what his name was, but he ended up playing okay against the Eagles. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but they had a corner that came back last week, actually, or I guess Monday, if you will, but that came back and actually played pretty well. But overall, I would take the under 48 here. I think this is just the cruise sailing tour of the East Coast by Seattle. They're just going to sail on back to Seattle.
Oh yeah, well, you watched that game the other night, and Carson Wentz somehow put up 17 points.
I know. that was like a Hail Mary that came out of nowhere.
I was in bed. I was like, the Seahawks are covering this bad boy, and I'm like, I woke up in the morning. I was like, that's why I got it at 5.5, not at 6.5.
Exactly.
Yeah, you always got to get the best number. So.
I know my buddy who I do my pool with, he was like, 6.5. I'm like, no, we had 5.5, man. We're good.
Exactly. Yeah. That's when it's good to get it early in the week for sure. You got to take those, wherever you a favorite, you got to get them early. Just like the Raiders this week.
That line was never going down.
Yeah.
That line was never going down for that Seattle.
No one in their right mind is taking the Eagles. So the next game, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. I'll let you jump into this game.
All right. Well, the Rams have been pretty amazing this year. They've been really good. They're in the top 15, well, actually top 13 in every one of my categories. I look for scoring offense, rushing yards, passing yards, point against, rush defense, and pass defense. What else do you want from a team? And I like McVay a lot. I think this is a real good spot for him. I know Arizona just came off that loss off the Pats. I kind of like the Pats that game. I am not pulling the trigger on it. And the Rams coming off of that loss now against the 49ers team of Nick Mullen or whatever his name is, just doing whatever, it just was a bad taste of them now. Now they know they need to win this other division game against a team that does have a good record. And I like the Rams -3 here.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I don't know. It's right here. I'm actually siding with the Cardinals here. It's just how the Cardinals are with Kyler Murray. They've just hit a rough patch. They're 1-3 in their last 4 games right now. They're struggling. Every game is always close. And the problem is I said it last week when they played the Patriots. I'm like, I don't trust Kyler Murray as a favorite. I think he's 2-6 now after that loss as a favorite. I was looking back at when he's an underdog, he's 12-6 now against the spread in his career in these 2 seasons as an underdog because he likes to be the underdog. He uses his feet. He makes plays in these games. He just doesn't like being up in games, being the favorite. I don't know. These scrambling quarterbacks just playing these close games. It goes back and forth. So Rams, I think, are just getting a lot of love in this game. I think the public's actually betting this pretty hard, too, on the Rams. And this is actually a double revenge spot. I know you love those. Cardinals double revenge from last year. So I kind of like the Cardinals here.
Well, I mean, when you were talking about that before with the Cardinals, they are 5-1 in their last against the spread. 5-1-1 in their last 7 as an underdog. So that is a good point that you brought up with that. But the Rams here, I mean, the Rams are 9-1 in their last 10 games following against the spread loss in their last 10. The matchups between these two, the favorite's been 6-0-1 in their last 7 meetings. Rams are 5-0 in their last 5 meetings in Arizona. And just the Rams have just played really well against the Cardinals. I know this is a new team with Murray and Kingsbury and everything. The road team's been 8-2-1 against the spread in their last 11 meetings. I don't know. I just think the Rams are just a better team overall.
No, that's true.
And you know me, I love the Cardinals this year. They were like my darling of the entire season. I couldn't stop talking about them. No. But I just think I don't know. I just think they're too good all the way around, and that defense can get real nasty real fast. And I don't know. That play action game is great, and it's just golf has all day back there to throw. And that defense is banged up with the Cardinals. It's just the rush defense is ranked 22nd. I think that's going to be a big problem when it comes to the play action game with the Rams because they're going to have to commit way too much with that rush defense, and he's going to get wide open looks all day. So I just like the Rams here.
No, definitely. Yep. It's a crazy week. The spreads get tighter and tougher at the end of the year, so we're definitely going to start having some opposite picks with each other. The next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. I'm just going to do this real quick. I mean, if I were to take a side, I'm taking the Packers here. The Eagles beat them last year. That was a desperation game for the Eagles. This is definitely just not the same Eagles team. I feel like they put out a ton of energy on that. That defense had a ton of energy.
They got worn out towards the end.
I figured throughout the game, I knew that was going to happen. They were just going to wear out. It was only a matter of time. But I think the Packers, when it gets late in the season like this, they like to run the ball. I think they're just going to wear the Eagles out in this game. I could see them winning. I could see this actually going low scoring because last year was high scoring. I could see the Packers controlling. Yeah, kind of just like the Seahawks game. I can see the Packers controlling the game here. So I would probably would side with the under if I was to pick on this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I'm taking the Eagles with these points. Yeah. I know they got that BS. They got the BS cover last week. No. I don't think they can do it 2 weeks in a row. Aaron Rodgers coming off a revenge game, like you talked about that Thursday night game. They embarrassed Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers didn't even. I don't know. It's just the over/under is so low too. The under just looks so great in this spot. I think I can see this game being a 24-10 game. Just Aaron Rodgers doing whatever he wants. Everyone's running in motion. The run game is going to be pretty solid. I mean, Eagles' rush defense is ranked 24th, which is kind of weird because usually their run defense is actually pretty decent and their pass defense kind of stinks. But it's actually the reverse now. You got their pass defense being ranked 8th for passing yards.
The Eagles' running defense was like top 10, but ever since that Giants game where Daniel Jones ran it for 60 yards, it kind of killed their average right there. So, because I was surprised, I was looking at the Eagles. I'm like, what the heck happened? But just a little tidbit, like the Eagles, their past games, they can't score. They scored 17, 17, 17. They scored 23 against Dallas, but that was a kicked fumble that they returned at the end of the game. They really scored, 16 points. They ended up scoring 23. And then they scored 22 again the game before against the Giants. So they're probably averaging about 18 to 19 points right now the past 5 games. So they're just absolutely dreadful. You can't back this team at all.
I mean, pretty simple. I mean, Green Bay's ranked number 1 in scoring offense. They just passed KC this week. Philadelphia's ranked 25th. I mean, this is just set up to be an under Green Bay cover game. I mean, I've seen this with Eagles games on the reverse ends when their offense has been clicking and they're facing a team that can't score. I could definitely see this being a 24-10 game. It's just, I just don't see. I mean, the defense will play, they'll get some momentum, but then it'll just eventually, they're going to get beat up and too much out there. Like Carson Wentz is just so inaccurate. And it's just, I know he doesn't have much time back there, but it's just, bad play calling and everything else. And Alshon Jeffrey's out there for whatever reason. So, so I would take the
just
under.
to throw something out there. I didn't realize. I'm just looking through the games right now.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Zach Ertz is questionable, so I mean that's a big plus if Ertz comes back because everything gets run through Ertz. I mean Wentz has been terrible, but just letting the people know that Ertz might play. He's back from injured reserve. He's questionable, so who knows if he does play or not. But
and you know what, honestly,
yeah.
And honestly, though, I don't think that's going to make that much of a big deal because Zach Ertz hasn't really been that good this year. Richard Rodgers has been actually the tight end that's been playing really well for Wentz. He's been scoring a couple touchdowns. Goddard had actually a good game last game. So I don't think you're getting that much of a boost with Ertz. I think he wants to get out. He wants to get his big deal, and he's not going to get it here. So
they're not throwing
if
the
he
ball.
comes back, then so be it. But like I said, under in Green Bay here. I think those are the two plays if you're looking to play this game.
Yeah, I'm not trusting the Eagles after they just got a lucky cover too. So
exactly.
We'll jump into the next game. New England Patriots at the Los Angeles Chargers. -1 is the spread. I know there's different spreads all over right now. This thing's bouncing all over the place. Pick them to both teams be a -1. I'd go with the Patriots here. We talked about it earlier. You can't trust Lynn. And I haven't looked back, but these guys have just been losing a ton of close games, and it has to do with the bad coach and a rookie quarterback. They just can't close out any games. I think their only wins were against the very terrible teams. I think they beat the Jaguars. I know they beat the Jets, and they could barely even cover those games. They're just a bad team. Patriots, I think they're just going to be able to run the ball easily in this game, but I also think the Chargers will be able to pass it. So I'm kind of leaning an over in this game too. So I would side with like possibly a little parlay, like Patriots and the over in this game. I think if the Patriots do get the win, the Chargers will do enough to score enough points, probably like a 28, like 27. I don't know. It just seems like a weird game. Like I think it's going to be high scoring. You know what I mean? I'd probably side more with the over than I would with the Patriots. Just my take. So what do you got on this one?
Well, actually, the Patriots defense, their strongest suit has been the passing defense. They're ranked 14th with pass yards per game. Their rush defense has actually been 21st on rush yards per game. But something that I was looking at with the Chargers, actually, they're ranked 25th in the NFL with points against, which I was super shocked about. They've been giving up points left and right, this defense. A defense that was supposed to play well, and they're ranked 10th on pass defense, but their worst part is their run defense, and that falls right into the hands of the Patriots. And I think Belichick is way leagues ahead of Lynn. I think he'll run circles all over him with plays. I just don't think they're going to be able to know what to do that game. I love the Patriots here. I think even though they won this game against the Cardinals, that they probably weren't supposed to win because the Cardinals have been pretty decent. I think the wheels are off the bus here with the Chargers here. I'm just worried about if Herbert can keep these guys in the game. That's my only concern because he has looked really well. But I think Belichick can get a good enough game plan against a young QB.
Yeah. So you said, what did you say the Patriots were in passing defense? Did you say?
So they're ranked 14th in pass yards per game. 14th. That's what I have here.
So weird. I'm seeing something. It's actually like one of the worst in the NFL. I don't know, just the way the stats are.
Let's see how your data is compared to mine, but yeah.
No, something else. I was just giving you a stat. Passing yards per attempt.
That's different. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're pretty high. 8 yards. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It's a high mark that they got right here.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, Herbert's been slinging the ball around, but that coach is terrible. He plays them out of games constantly. So I just think Belichick can get a good spot here against a young QB. And I think Cam Newton's going to run the ball very well. I just see this being an ugly Patriots game. So that's how I see it.
Okay. So we'll jump into the next game. We got the Denver Broncos plus 13.5 at the Kansas City Chiefs. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, so you're looking at a situation. I'm assuming all the quarterbacks are going to come back. I assume Locke's going to be back. Whoever. I know they picked up another guy, another QB.
Another wide receiver?
No, this guy's just like quarterback. So but I don't think it's going to really matter. I think Locke's going to still be the guy. I think that they're going to get all through the COVID protocol. 13.5. I mean, that's a pretty big number. I mean, they're ranked 7th in pass defense, but they're ranked 27th in rush defense. I think this is an opportunity where you could have Patrick Mahomes with an over on rushing yards because I think there's going to be a lot available for him to run here. Whether it's going to be the kid from LSU that's going to be able to run real well, or just I don't know. Well, you're looking at two things. So the scoring offense, KC's ranked 2nd, and Denver's obviously 31st. They both, so it's like you get both polar opposites. That's why the over/under is so high, and I think they'll be able to pass a little bit better than expected if they get their quarterbacks back, of course. But I'm just staying away from this game. The over/under is 50.5. I just don't have a good feeling about this game for some reason. I mean, honestly. Gun to my head, I take KC with the 13.5, but I don't know. I mean, they probably do blow them out. I don't know. It's one of those weird division games. It's Sunday night. I mean, who knows?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's Sunday. Okay, nice. I forgot about that. The thing with this game, I don't know. I have to see who Denver's got coming back and who's playing quarterback, but these guys played, I think it was 5-6 weeks ago. I was just taking a look into the game just to check out how it went. The game was actually close in the first half. I think it just got out of control. They had like some crazy unlucky turnovers in that game because I'm looking at the stats and it looks like Mahomes only had 185 passing yards in the game. So I think a lot of crazy stuff was happening in that game that made that score look a lot worse than it really is. I think that's a huge spread. I think everyone saw how bad Denver was because they didn't have a quarterback last week. But so this line is going to be imploded. So 13.5, I take those points all day. I mean, that's a division game too. They know how to defend Mahomes. You just can't give up the deep pass. And I think they did pretty good in that game. They weren't giving up any big plays to Mahomes. So if they could just keep the game close and, Mahomes isn't really going to be really motivated for this game. He just beat their revenge game. They beat Las Vegas. They won that game, and then they just beat Brady last week. And they had a huge amount of yards, 456 passing yards in that game. This is another one where I just see he's going to be kind of lazy out there. I mean, he's still going to put up probably his high 20s, but I think the Broncos are do enough. The Chiefs haven't really been playing good defense of late anyway, so.
And it's pretty funny you were talking about that last game. You want to hear how KC scored their points the first half? So Edwards scored a touchdown, rushing touchdown. They scored a field goal. Then they got a 50-yard interception return for a touchdown, and then they got a 102-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. They ended up losing 20-49 first half because of those two plays. So if you take that out, you're really looking at a 10-9.
Mm-hmm. It was really ugly. Yeah, it was an ugly game. They were playing good defense. So
maybe a first half Denver line would be good. Maybe you get them at like 8.5, 9. Maybe you never know. I mean, I would consider taking Denver first half, maybe just to keep things slow and conservative. Hey, and if Denver scores a touchdown, like that's a lot. But KC can do it to come back with because they have the firepower. But I like where you're looking at with that because I'm just looking at the game now that you're talking about. I'm like, I want to see what you're talking about. And they just got some crazy stuff for touchdowns in the first half.
I realized when I was watching the highlights, because I like to check into the game, see how they went. And it was just it went haywire. Just everything went wrong for the Broncos in that game. So I think they've been doing pretty well. Every time I would have to look back at the Broncos games. Every time they've gotten blown out, they've come right back and actually beaten teams this year, coming back with like outright wins. You saw them get killed against Las Vegas, and then they came back and beat the Dolphins. Everybody was all over the Dolphins against the Broncos in that game. And I remember there was another game earlier in the season. They got blown out, and then the next week they beat the Chargers. So they definitely come out and they scored 31 against the Chargers. They put up 20 against Miami. So as long as they get to about 20 points anyway, I think they get that cover for 13.5. So definitely a good thing to look into that game right there. I know the Broncos had a bunch of injuries, but I have to check out the injury report, see what's going on if we were to take that game. So we'll jump into the Monday night game. We got the Buffalo Bills at the San Francisco 49ers. We're probably going to disagree with this game, so I'll let you go first.
All right, fair enough. So Buffalo's -2.5 at San Francisco. The over/under is 48. I'm just looking at things with San Fran. They have a lot of good things going on in defense, which I'm still shocked about from this day with all their injuries. Salah's been absolutely amazing defensive coordinator, but I believe that was his name, Salah. But and their pass yards have been pretty good too. But you know what? I just refuse to go against the Buffalo Bills being a short favorite. I just on the road. I don't know. I feel like I've gotten screwed multiple times with it, and I would not fall for it again. I'm going to stay away from this game because I just don't like it. The over/under is 48. I could see it possibly going over, but if I had to take something, I would just take Buffalo -2.5 because I've been screwed on before. So just whatever. I don't really like the game, but I would take Buffalo -2.5.
Yeah, for some reason, I just like the Niners here. I know they got hit with injuries early in the season, but I don't know. They're just still a good team. And for them, they're a type of team that if you're getting them points as an underdog, I know they had all those. Yeah, they had all those tough games. They had the Packers. They had the Saints. Those were games they were expected to lose. And they faced Russell Wilson actually one of the weeks before that. And that was like that was a week where Seattle, I think, lost like 2 straight, and they needed that game. So 49ers, I think Sherman came back like a week ago or something like that. I think Armstead came back. They had a bunch of guys. Yeah, so they had a bunch of guys on the COVID. That's why they scared me off last week. But a lot of those guys ended up coming back out and they played. And they looked good against the Rams, who, again, you said one of the most balanced teams. You got the Bills, who just aren't balanced at all. They don't run the ball at all. They just everything's relied on Josh Allen all the time. So this is a Monday night game. I don't know. The 49ers, when they play under the lights, too, I don't know. I mean, except for that one week they got killed by the Packers. They lost all their guys.
Yeah.
The defense comes out to play. I'm not saying Mullins is going to go out there slinging, but I don't know. The defense usually comes out to play when it needs to. They're 5-6 now. This is definitely a big game. Buffalo isn't one of these teams that are just like killing teams. They're going to move to 9-3. I just don't see them being that great team that you have to have a run game if you're going to be an elite team in the NFL. So give me San Fran. I like the +2.5 there.
So it's funny you brought up the Monday night situation. I'm looking at some stuff right now. So the 49ers are 13-3 in their last 16 Monday night games.
Nice.
I mean, that says a lot how well they play. And if you look at the other end, the Bills are 0-3-1 against the spread in their last 4 Monday night games. So you're getting a spot where a team has been too good on Monday night and then a team that's been lights out on Monday night. And then you're getting points on top of it. This even makes it even more of a stay-away game for me because even coming off that big emotional game off the Rams, I hate taking teams off big emotional wins, especially in division. This is the ultimate stay-away game for me.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bills team is just so weird to me. I can't believe they have so many wins, and Singletary, he's been terrible. He's got 110 carries, 482 yards. That's their leading rusher. That's just crazy to me. I don't know. Yeah, because they've beaten some pretty easy teams, but who knows? We'll see what happens in that game. That's nothing I love about the 49ers, but if I were to side with it, I would take the Niners in that game. And then the last game is Washington-Pittsburgh, but guys, there's no line. That game's off right now. We still got to wait for Pittsburgh to play the Ravens. Just to throw something out there, I saw that the spread might be, I saw it pop up there as -10 for the Steelers against Washington. I feel like this is a spot where Washington could play some defense in that game and get it covered. I think 10 points is a lot for Pittsburgh to cover. Pittsburgh, I remember they beat the Giants in the first week of the season. They beat them by 10. They're not someone that's just going to kill these type of teams. And Washington, I'm starting to like them to win the NFC East. They're starting to get confidence. Everyone else in the whole division has had just terrible things happen. You lost Dak Prescott. Carson Wentz is god-awful. The Giants just lost Daniel Jones. So it seems like a blessing in disguise. They got Alex Smith out of the quarterbacks that they did have weren't amazing. So they're playing great defense, the Washington football team. Did I say
There you go.
Redskins?
Good save.
Okay, I don't
Strong.
know if I said it. Sorry.
No, that was good. The Washington football. You
So,
saved it real good. That was solid.
yeah, exactly. So
So,
I'm just throwing it out there because we're not going to be able to talk about this game
yeah.
later. Yeah.
And I know we're probably going to get this out probably Wednesday night, but are you ready for some Wednesday 3:40 football?
Oh, I forgot about the time change. Oh,
so the Ravens are playing at the Steelers. You know the mess with the QB situation, and they're playing at 3:40 on a Wednesday.
That's crazy. I have no clue what's going to happen in that game. I mean, the spread's supposed to be 3 or 4, and now it's at -11. So that's why I think if the Steelers just get and the over/under's only 40.5, so that's just telling you this is just a blowout game right here. That's why they're putting at 3:40. No one's going to watch the game. It's just going to be a blowout. That's why I like the Washington football team next week because I don't know how this is going to be weird scheduling for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that could be a spot where you could just throw sprinkle a little money line money because these teams always just randomly lose one of these. I don't know. This team just doesn't impress me to be a 16-0 team. You know what I mean? They could just fall to a good defense. Like the Washington could play good defense in that game. So we'll jump out of this and we'll go into Survivor. We can get into that. This is where you weren't actually positive who you were going to take this week, right?
Yeah. So we were talking about these last Survivor picks I pretty much picked that have not covered the spread. So I decided to do the homework. So I decided to do the homework. I got the homework right here. So I got all my games here that I have Survivor. So week 1, I took the Chiefs. They covered. Tampa Bay, week 2, they covered. Indy, week 3, they covered. So I went 3-0 right off the bat.
Yeah, because you got a great teams. That's why.
Great teams. So then week 4, I take Baltimore. They play the Redskins, I believe. That was a push. They ended up winning by 14. So that was my only push of this whole entire season. Then I took Dallas. They lost the spread there. Then Miami won. They killed the Jets. So I ended up taking that. Wow. The Buffalo Bills, they lost that spread. The Eagles actually covered that one spread against Dallas that I had for that Monday night game that I had.
You just went on a little cold streak, that's all.
And then, yes, how would you know? Yes. So Pittsburgh, I lost the spread against the Cowboys. Then Green Bay, I lost the spread. The Chargers, I lost the spread. And then finally, the New York Giants lost the spread. I think I've won 4 games with backup quarterbacks. I guess I need that kind of luck with this, but hey, I'm still in it. I'm 5-6. I'm 5-6-1 against the spread. So I'm actually better than I thought I was with these plays. Okay. But I'm 0-4 against the spread in these last Survivor plays. So I'm looking here, and I'm looking at these games. I was originally looking at the Vikings, so I was like, well, 9.5. I'm like, that's a pretty big line, but you know what? Like, Jags might cover that game. Who knows? Like that could easily cover it as well. I think at the end of the day, I just think it's too good of a spot for him. I know I play pretty much against the Jets a whole lot, but I'm looking here. The Raiders got embarrassed. They're still staying on the East Coast. They're coming off revenge from last year. They should win this game at New York. I think their offense has too much firepower, and I think the mistakes that they make on defense with the penalties left and right with the personal fouls, I think is just going to lead to even more points. I don't care who's playing quarterback: DiNucci, Darnold, Flacco, Joe Flacco. I don't, the guy from the replacements. I don't even care. Like,
they're terrible.
They're a terrible team, and you know what? The Raiders just came off a terrible loss, so that was good that you brought that up as well. So I think I'm probably just going to ride with the Raiders. I mean, they're already on the East Coast anyway, so it's not a true, travel from West to East Coast game. They were already in Atlanta. Now they're going up to East Rutherford. So I think it's a great spot for them. And then I still have the Raiders available. So give me the Raiders.
Definitely, yeah. I know I cut myself off early in the segment, and time just went by, and I'm like, now I forget what I was going to tell you. I forgot what point I was going to give. So, but definitely love the Las Vegas Raiders there. You got to take that pick right there. They came off the blowout loss to the previous season to the Jets. The Raiders are improved from last year. I still think they're going to squeak in as a wild card. And I don't trust teams like the Vikings. Like, that wouldn't be the other option just because they're a team that's underachieved this year. They're not making the playoffs this year. So those are the type of teams that always lose the bad teams, the teams that just don't make the playoffs, So they're a team that you could avoid, and probably a lot of people are going to lose on those Vikings this week, I bet, if they do go down. But,
I can only hope. Now I'm hoping the Jags win, so that really cuts down my survivor. But, I mean, I'm looking because, I was going to probably take Seattle this week against the Eagles, but I just couldn't. I need to save them because the next week they play the Jets at Seattle.
Yeah.
I just have to. I have to take Seattle next week. And I'm just looking ahead to the following week. I'm looking at the line right now. It's at 14.5. It's just absurd. It's just.
And what is Seattle, home or away?
They're home. They're home. The Jets are going cross country to Seattle.
By the time that time comes, it's probably going to be 17.
Yeah. So that's why I say Seattle. That's why I had to finally take my chance with the Giants, and I even took more of a chance because Daniels got hurt with his hamstring, and then Colt McCoy's in. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I had to save Seattle for this point for next week. So, it won't be a shocker for me next week. If I survive this week, I'm definitely taking Seattle. I still have them in the bag. So that'll be pretty easy if I get to that point.
Nice. You got it set up perfectly. So glad you took those Giants, and now you got the Raiders. So it's all panning out perfectly. And like we said, anything could happen. Injuries could happen. And that's what
they've been happening.
It's always smart to take the great teams early and then still save some great teams like Seattle you still have. So that should close out the show, though. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tackle the Board. You can follow my personal page. I give out free picks now at Russ Reese is my Twitter page for free picks. And if you want to join my service where I give out all my top picks, you can follow me at Vegas Line Reader. I'm going to throw it over to Chris, and he can tell you where you can follow him. At Chris Ebom is where you can follow his picks he's been putting out, too, as well for college football. And he's also been putting out some golf picks. Give him your handle for your golf picks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So my golf plays are at OTT Matchups on Twitter. We're kind of in the standstill for the golf season. This is kind of like the mini off season right now. So not a whole lot going on in golf. But hopefully in the once we get into January, things will start rolling a little bit more. I have to look at the schedule, but right now we're in a little break of that, so giving me a little breather with that for the most part. College football's been great, though. The week was a winning week, a small winning week. It knocked down my percentage a little bit. I'm at 60% now, which is still really good. Going to have some plays out this week for college football, of course. You can always direct message me with, what games you want to play. If there's games that you want to know that I really like, I'm more than happy to give them to you. I do it free of charge. If you want to tip, great. That's great as well because I do appreciate it because I put them out for free. So, but yeah, NFL, we're still rolling. Everything's good. Feeling good about this week. I was real close last week, putting a sweep on the board. Just got a little unlucky with a couple games. I'm hoping we can get on the right end with this and keep it rolling.
Definitely. And make sure you guys check us out on our YouTube channel here. Make sure you hit the like button on here and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us out to gain more subscribers, and you guys will be updated when our videos come out. So that'll close out the show, and let's make some money, guys.
Yeah, let's tackle that board.
Oh, yeah.